Well, good evening. What's going on, y'all? It's your girl Boots Boswell with the bottom line. I hope everyone is having an amazing Thursday. Um, I decided to go ahead and do a live. I had attended a live, and this was a major topic regarding what's going on with TD Jakes, um, the mega pastor that has been accused of relations with men and just getting entangled with the Sean Pdiddy Combs situation. And I thought I'd come on to kind of have a little dialogue and see the perspective and opinions of individuals. Is TD Jakes being judged unjustly, or just kind of what the temperature amongst people in church and outside of church? Um, really want to get the opinion about how do people feel about churches nowadays, and more specifically, how do you feel about mega churches? um, we've seen a lot of pastors being accused of just different things in recent times, and has the health and the integrity of the church been compromised? I know a lot of people don't typically like mega churches because they start to be or to appear to be commercialized and seem to be entangled, with a lot of things that go against integrity. And just was curious to know what the community's take and point, is on a lot of the allegations that Sean P. Diddy Combs is facing, lawsuits, and now being that T.D. Jakes has been in company of Sean in many instances, his spiritual or advisor, what have you, and being accused of attending parties and um, quote unquote allegedly, freak offs. All this stuff is alleged because we're just average everyday people. We wasn't there, and there has been no proof, um, that he partaked in any of this. I know I saw a clip of his sermon this past Sunday, and he didn't go into a lot of detail, but he did state that if you were looking for him to address lies, so he's denying the allegations, obviously, the alleged accusations, that he wasn't going to take time out from the pulpit to address such nonsense. My personal take, I think we culturally make people out to be more than who they are. I think once you reach statuses like TD Jakes, Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, Beyonce, Jay-Z, people of that stature, what have you, that we begin to idolize them and make them more than who they are. People with a lot of money, people with influence, but nonetheless, they're people. And we have to be careful not to idolize and worship people because we take the normalcy out of their being and who they are to the world and to us. And it creates a dangerous atmosphere, relationship, what have you. And I think a lot of that has happened when it comes to TD Jakes. I think that you can become so influential that you can lose your authenticity. because money starts to rule in a lot of cases. And this is not to say that that has happened with TD Jakes, but there's a lot of opinions out there regarding his commitment to the church versus profitable gain. Ultimately, I think we all have a responsibility to develop our own individualized relationship with your spiritual leader, whoever that is. Mine is Jesus Christ, God. I don't think that we do enough homework individually to make educated and justified assessments of others. We latch on to opinions and what's popular without doing our homework. I don't really follow mega churches. Um, I like to be able to reach out and have a conversation with a pastor in real time, real life. Uh, Initially, I really did like people like TD Jakes and Joe Osteen, but it comes to a point to where they come across more of motivational speakers and storytellers versus somebody that I can spiritually learn from. That's not to say that they aren't spiritual leaders. I think that they do a lot of good, but for me and my beliefs, I need to be able to have a conversation with my spiritual leader. And I have spiritual leaders that I can reach out to and talk to, that I have learned from, that have taken the time to teach me different stories in the Bible and how to really prepare myself to understand verses in the Bible and how to apply it to my life. Like one of my closest friends, her pastor is also one of my pastors, that even though I live in a different state, I can reach out to him and I still call his prayer line on a regular basis. And I learn because his teachings aren't personal. He speaks from the Bible. A lot of people start to story tell or inspire, and it can shift away from biblical teachings. And being taught here in recent years, a lot of information that I was taken to the Bible to learn from. And I'm no Bible thumper, for lack of a better term. Like, I don't know the Bible like the back of my hand, although I can call on some people that do, and they can take you straight to the Bible. So I tend to follow and believe their teachings because it's not their words. They take me straight to the Bible and show me where it states that. And I think a lot of times, um, when people get very popular, it's because their ability to tell a great story versus keeping it plain and simple and biblical, chapter by chapter, verse by verse. But it leads back to, regardless if I follow or you follow TD Jake's teachings or not, is he being judged unjustly by society? I would say he is, for the mere fact of, this is gossip, regardless if I follow his teachings or not. Again, I'm not a follower of his teachings. I think he's a great speaker, but I'm not a follower. We latch on to things too quickly. And social media and these platforms and the ability to get information out there at the rate of and speed of air quickly, like the wind, is dangerous. And too many people will latch on to an allegation or a rumor without doing their homework and not look at the impact that it can have on someone in their family, their professional life, their emotional state. I think when people become celebrity or mega influencers, people start to look at them as non-human. There's so many allegations going around about this man that are not validated. No proof is out there. They may be true. We don't know. But today it's a rumor. It's alleged. It's allegations. None of us was there. There's no proof that's being shown. And he's already been crucified and judged. And we're not looking at the impact that it not only has on this man, but also what it has on his family, his wife, his children. These are people. We can get so vicious with our judgment of others without taking time to pause. Pause can save a lot of lives. Pause can change a lot of lives. And here we are. We typically don't do that. We have to get real and heal within our own households, within our own selves, emotional states, because we got a lot going on more times than not. It's more of us that we all dealing with something. But some of us have so much going on, we don't even have time to be thinking or talking about somebody else. We need to address the mess in our lives and in our households. We hear these things time and time again, but the reality is a lot of us are so unhealthy. We really do get satisfaction and validation by discussing and looking at somebody else's life or pointing fingers and talking about people. It is such an unhealthy act and behavior. But here we are at every stage in life, young, middle, old, and we do these things continuously. It's not enough healthy people that can continuously combat this, because the naysayers, the negative, bad behavior tends to and always have outweighed the good. But that doesn't change the good. And what should happen? We should be a people of grace, mercy, and compassion. Say if these things are true about T.D. Jakes, that he have conducted himself, unfavorably, same sex relationships, what have you, whatever they're saying, right? We should be offering prayer. We should be offering support to get him back on track. Because, see, at some point in life, we all have been off track. We all have done things that we're not proud of. We all have made bad decisions that we are blessed because God offered us grace and mercy, and then we had others that offered forgiveness and support for us to work through it. We have to get away from this unhealthy mentality within the culture to be so quick to jump on a bandwagon and crucify and tear somebody down. Look for somebody's downfall. There's a lot of jealousy, resentment, and negativity that goes on that we have to get away from. Not even more so for other people, but more for ourselves. My heart goes out to TD Jakes. I have watched some of his sermon throughout the years, seen some of his speakings and teachings, on different platforms, and he always have come across as a powerful, very strong, um, s- strong voice preaching man. And when he came out this Sunday, he tried to cover it up, but I'm very observant. Um, very sensitive to an atmosphere and behavior. having over 20 years of leading people, I can read people well. But even before then, I was born with discernment. And I saw the doubt, the fear, the weakness. I saw the shake in his hand. And I didn't get any satisfaction out of that. My heart went out to him because at the end of the day, that is a man that has a lot of accusation, that's on a platform that most of us couldn't even imagine being on and being accused and crucified. We're still people, ladies and gentlemen. We still have feelings at every stage in financial status and social status in life. We are people nonetheless. And we need to start having more grace, more mercy, treating people like we were taught in basic grammar school. Golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Excuse me. Has his works, his deeds outweighed the bad? I would say yes. Say, like a lot of people have looked with the side eye, like, oh, well, he goes to these parties where Sean Diddy Combs attend. Listen, I know a pastor specifically that knows the Bible better than anybody I know. He knows the Bible better than most pastors. He spends most of his times ministering to people in prisons, people in streets. He talks about where he has went in crack houses and pulled some people out that he has helped. He goes into the undesirable places. And that man knows the Bible better than most. I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know people that know the Bible better than him. So when people accuse and have these accusations of, oh, well, he shouldn't be here, or he was at this place or that place, people that are trying to win souls, typically God didn't just stay amongst the saved or the holy. He went into places and situations where people needed healing, people needed savior. you know that is where your belief is tested. Faith without works is dead. You got to get out there. You got to get out there and be amongst the people that need healing, that need believing restored, that need their souls to be wakened up. Religious communities are so judgmental and will shun and look down on a sinner, but they don't even realize that behavior itself, they're sinning. None of us is without sin. People are so holy and headed straight to hell. Let's just be honest. We have to quit with the arrogance of, you cannot support people that are emotionally at a different mentality in life. It is those people that you should engage, because you might just save their soul and help correct their lives. Even if these things are true regarding TDJ, say that they are. I will not condemn him. What I will do is offer a prayer that God will intervene and get him back on track, because the man has done some good things regardless. Regardless. He has a daughter that had a baby at 14. He still uplifted and supported her. Most people that I know that have come from very religious households, in the aspect of they went to church 7 days a week or constantly, they had religious parents that were leaders within the church. Many of them have done something that would go against the church, and many times have been judged so harshly by the church that it just tore their lives apart. When you can have a parent that can work with you through your shortcomings and protect you when the church judges you, I look at that as a effective loving parent. And I would say TD Jakes was that to his daughter when she had a child at 14. People in the church are some of the most sinful people, let's be honest. It's more sin going on in the church than outside the church. And they don't have time to be judging somebody else. They need to be getting on their knees praying for themselves. See, at the end of the day, can't nobody save your soul. You have to do that work, because when you die and when judgment day come, I believe in all of that. You will stand alone and you will be accountable for what you did or did not do during your life. What is the story that you will tell? What is the book of life going to say about you and your life? See, I'm in my late 40s. I'm on the other side of life. When I look at historically lifespan, I don't have time to be playing and worrying about what TD Jake is doing with saving or selling his life. I have to be concerned about what's going on with me, what's going on with my spirituality and my prayer life and the impact that I'm having on my family. Culturally, I heard this and I didn't know it before until I heard it, but it's true in my opinion. I heard the African American community or Black community, period, has this fascination and worshiping mentality of celebrities. And the more and more that I pay attention and assess this, I tend to agree with it. We are so caught up in celebrities' lives that we focus more on that than we do our own lives. It makes no sense. There's so much work that needs to go on in our personal lives, in our families, and also in our communities that we don't have time to be worrying about what's going on with somebody else. The church many times is sick and needs healing. A lot of people have gotten these churches and they have used it as a hustle. And it's just so much instability in the religious communities that many people that don't have a prayer life or spirituality at this rate won't have one, because it's so much chaos that's going on within the church. But the good news is this: you can have a relationship with God outside of that. See, the church is not a building, the church is the people, the church is your relationship and your spirituality with God. Well, Happy New Year's. Glad you could make it. Glad to see you. I hope your holidays have been enjoyable and pleasant. I typically come on Saturdays and then sometimes on Tuesdays, but I've been off. I'm off until after the first of the year, and there's been a trending topic about TD Jakes and his relationship with Sean Diddy Combs, and it just seems like the Black community, religious community, is just in an uproar. And I thought I'd come on and talk about it a little bit. Most of us know who TD Jakes is. Um, a lot of people respect and follow him. I respect him. I don't follow him, but I respect him. And I look at this situation as a teachable moment. We can learn something from everything. I use my platform. Number one, I want to inspire, I want to educate, support, and use situations as teachable moments to help better ourselves, to help growth, thought provoking conversations, to try to benefit us and get away from all this unhealthy mentality and behavior. Absolutely. I don't I don't follow him, but he's a hot topic right now, and that's for sure. We tend to make people godly because they got money or they are popular. We are people. I don't care how much money you have in your bank account. I don't care how many followers you have. At the end of the day, we still people. And we have allowed greed, lust and jealousy and all these things to make people seem godly, and it's just not the case. When the day is done, that is a man that will return to dust as the rest of us. And we need to normalize people more and quit making them these above life individuals and focus more on our prayer life and our alignment with our spirituality and our call and purpose in life. My heart goes out to this man in the aspect he's a man. He has a wife, he has children. And even if he is guilty, so be it. He guilty. We all guilty of something. I'm not here to judge him. What I do know is that mental health is real. That when I looked at his sermon for a clip that I saw this past week, I saw a once very confident man that tried to appear very confident. I saw a weakness. I saw uncertainty in him, and that's okay because it validates what I know to be true. This is a man. He feels everything that you and I would feel if you had millions and he got millions of people talking mess about him. We have to learn how to support each other better. We have to learn how to start looking in the mirror and tell the truth. See, that's how I started this platform because I was able to, number one, answer the call when God started dealing with me in life. He started dealing with me and told me to start telling the truth because I, like so many other people, was living a prideful life, and I would not speak about things that I knew that was true within the community like everybody else. What goes on in this house stay in this house, and is what everything that's understood don't need to be spoken. Yeah, we got a lot of people in our family and in our community that ain't right, and we ain't doing nothing about it. It was time to start talking and telling the truth, and that's why I'm able to speak up, because my only goal is the truth. How can I push the agenda forward that can better people's lives, not tear people down? Because, see, tearing people down, talking about people, pointing fingers, saying, "Yep, I was right," does nothing for my life. It's too many of us that's suffering silently. It's too many of us that need help, that need guidance and support to live productive, healthy lives, that don't have information that we need in order to be better people and to raise better people. I don't have time to be talking about nobody. And I don't know none of us that do either. We have to start holding each other more accountable. We see all this ungodliness that's going on. I see more people's bodies, naked bodies almost, if you will, on these social media platforms than I do their faces. I see their body before I even know what they talking about. And it's not a good look nor a good message, but it is a growing trend. It's a growing behavior that we are normalizing And it's unhealthy. It's very unhealthy. Those of us that just want to have regular conversations and try to steer people right, see, we unpopular because it ain't a lot of chaos and mess and just, a lot of havoc going on. It's a lot of truths going on over here, a lot of accountability, self-respect, accountability. These things that I don't care what goes on and what generation or age or time we are in won't go away. It's the baseline, it's the guiding factor of how we should live our lives. But it ain't enough popping off with the truth. So don't nobody want to talk about it. But I'm going to keep talking about what it takes to succeed in life. It's called self-love. It's called accountability, respect. It's called you don't got time to talk about somebody else because you got enough going on in your household, in your life that needs to be corrected. See, I got a lot going on. I want to be stronger physically. I'm still getting my emotional health back from depression, anxiety, and a severe case of COVID back in 2020. My bounce back ain't as strong in my late 40s as it was in my 20s. That's what matters to me. And helping people have the right information so that they don't go through some of the things I've been through, that they can bypass and navigate around it. Learn from other people's mistakes. How can we set generations that's coming after us up for success? It's too much unhealthiness. Whatever TD Jakes does is not going to impact my life. If he is guilty, I will say he needs to be held accountable in aspect because there are a lot of people that follow him. And as a leader, we have to hold people accountable. That's why everything is going by the wayside because of no accountability. There has to be accountability. But until that time, let's offer grace. Let's offer support. Let's offer prayer. See, my life changed when I increased my spirituality. TD Jakes didn't get me there. Joel Osteen, none of these people got me there. My beliefs, my faith, me getting on my knees and praying and asking God to hear me and continuously talking to God until he responded impacted my life. See, my spirituality, I own. Your spirituality, you own. TD Jakes can't save us. TT, you know I ain't lying. TT said, thank you. I'm 34 with children 6 and under. And the bounce back is superb. Amen. Listen, I was on a platform the other day, TT, and I was speaking to these young ladies that's in your age group, the millennials, and some Gen Z, trying to help them understand because they were talking about their failed relationships. It's a lot of broken young women that have got into these relationships, and it's natural we put our hearts and our efforts into these relationships, and in the end you lose. And then once the guy have betrayed you, left you destitute financially and little support with the children. I'm speaking in general. This is not UTT. This is um, what I am engaging in seeing just on these different platforms that I engage with. They don't know what to do. And this was just yesterday. I said, you have to start guarding yourself, your emotional state, because your bounce back ain't the same. In your 30s and your 40s, you can't bounce back as quickly as you used to. Hey, AJ, welcome in. Glad to see you. We put ourselves in harm's way when we don't protect ourselves. We are the best gatekeepers of our mental and physical health. Far too many times we are relying on other people to be our saviors, to be our answers in life. And that's too high of a call. That is too much of a responsibility that people cannot and will not be able to fulfill. TT said it's not me, but sounds like my story. Amen. Listen, it sounds like so many of our stories, and that is the commonality. When I was on the platform, the women were coming up telling a story, saying that their either spouses or husband were narcissists. Talked about the emotional abuse, the financial, physical abuse, how they were being neglected, disrespected, left, emotionally abused, all these things. All the stories were the same at the end of the day. There wasn't any unique. There was only one story that was unique in that arena, and it wasn't unique. It was just excessive. This lady had got bang bang 5 times, and one of those bang bangs was in her mouth. And by the grace of God, she was still here to talk about it. We have to stop looking for people to make us whole. We have to start doing the work ourselves and quit latching on to what's popular. We got to do our homework, ladies and gentlemen. AJ said years ago I started hearing TD fakes. AJ, a lot of people feel that way. Some don't, a lot do, a lot don't. Some people say he's a great motivational speaker, but no, not a spiritual leader. Some people think he's the best spiritual leader. It's all about what you believe. I I like to have a relationship with a spiritual leader that I can actually talk to. Some of these people are so high that you will never speak to them personally. I don't place my spiritual growth in somebody's hand to that extent. I'm smart enough to know at this stage in my life that I own that I have to do my own work because these people can't save me. These people can't get my life together. I got to get my life together. They can give me advice and they can support me in the process to a certain extent, but ultimately, my healing, my deliverance comes from within me. We have to start owning and being accountable for our individual lives and quit looking to man for all the answers. See, the heart of a man is inherently wicked. Who can know it? T.D. Jakes is a man. Joel Osteen is a man. Um, what? Cleo Dollar, Cleo Dollar is a man. All these popular people are people, no more, no less. My spirituality and my relationship with God became strong and it started to impact my life greatly when wasn't nobody else around. It was just me and God. And I started to spend more and more time talking and speaking to God on my own behalf. I asked for prayers. I need prayers. But what I know to be true for me and you, whether you believe it or not, nobody can pray for me better than me, and nobody can pray for you better than you. AJ says, yes, I've been doing that and it scares people. When I could go and apologize to people, tell them I'm wrong, you should have seen the looks on their face. Listen, such a humbling and easy act of humility owning your wrongs and be able to go back and to rectify your wrongs. Most people cannot do. I applaud you, AJ, because most people can't do that. Ego is a dangerous thing. Ego will help you go straight to hell. Ego is not your friend. And most people don't even realize ego is separate from you. Ego is an evil thing that has messed up many lives and many homes and is very strong. You have to be able to own your truths in life. That's how you progress and move the agenda forward. That's how you find purpose when you show up and you are honest and accountable. I love the fact that I have done enough work in my life and God has shown me enough grace and mercy that I can show up here and have a conversation and be honest. I can sit here and say, I don't have all the answers, but I'm willing to talk about it. I'm willing to work towards something that's positive, impactful on my life and other people's life, collectively with other people. I'm not arrogant enough to think that I have all the answers. I don't. But the good news is I'm willing, I'm wanting, and I'm open. The platform that I was on earlier, it was chaos. Everybody wanted to be right. Everybody was talking over each other. There cannot be any learning or any healing or any agenda moving forward in the right direction when you have chaos. And in our culture, we are accustomed to chaos. We have to unlearn these bad, toxic behaviors. We have to unlearn all the negative behaviors that's causing us to have bad health and unhealthy relationships amongst each other. We have bred so much unhealthiness in us that we have a lot of work to do. And condemning other people is not how we get there. Because, see, there will be times before we get out of here that we going to need some grace in our lives, that we going to need someone to be patient with us, to forgive us, to help us navigate and understand and make sense of some of the bad things that has happened to us and also that we have done. Let's learn how to support each other more purposefully and in a healthy way. Unlearn these bad mindsets. And we wonder why all these younger people are out here, excuse my French, raising hell and have no regard for nobody and no conscience. Because we are creatures of habit and of nature. We do what we see. They've only done what they have seen. They are only doing what we have taught them by demonstration. We have to rise above these bad behaviors. We have to be the person that we need. We have to start being the solution to the problem. We all got problems. We all can say, woe is me. We got to start finding solutions to these problems and implementing them. What you say, AJ? I've been crying and praying for the youth. Amen. Listen, we have to uplift the youth. We have to stay in prayer because it is a dangerous and unhealed culture, more so than any other one. See, they got the this youngest culture, they got the pain and the suffering of three generations: baby boomers, Gen X, millennials. Gen Z is carrying pains of four generations, theirs and the three that come before them. And it's a very unhealed, sick society that we have to rescue. They need some rescuing. And we can't do that because we too busy acting like a fool. It's nothing more disheartening than to see the elders in the community that are ignorant and immature and very abusive. The elders in our communities have to do better and demonstrate better leadership. Take the time to heal themselves. See, we so busy pointing fingers, but we need a lot of healing to happen. There are too many people that are of matriarch age that are out here in these societies and in these streets that are just acting silly. There is nothing worse than to see an ignorant old person. That's what you call a true fool. See, it's early stages in your life. You're offered grace. You get a pass here and there. But it's a lot of old fools running around here. And enough is enough because these younger people are dependent upon us. People got to start normalizing therapy, getting themselves help, not being okay with toxic behaviors, abusive mentalities, aggressive mentalities. We have to start holding ourselves and each other more accountable and call it out. Call it out. We have to get to the point within the specifically the Black community where we no longer accept and allow these bad behaviors amongst one another. These older people that won't own their responsibilities. We got to start calling it out because that's why the culture is so corrupt. Because we don't want to take accountability. We say, oh, it ain't got nothing to do with us. Oh, yeah, it do. Our kids, our families navigate in the same communities. We are a culture that adapt to something quickly. We are impressionable. So yeah, we own it. And we have to get in front of it and start speaking out. These young people that constantly are getting in these relationships, looking for somebody to complete them and to make them whole, and the other person is emotionally unstable, um, emotionally unhealthy. We have to start cutting that off and educating these young people before it happens because it's ruining lives. It's so many young women that are broken. It's so many young women that are looking for love and leadership from men that have no clue. And this is not to place blame. The Black community is divided. You have these male groups, the Passport Bros, the Red Pill, Manosphere, all these that are anti-Black women. And you have some Black women with the strong Black woman mentality, which I don't agree with because it's killing us with high heart disease rates and mental illnesses because our stress levels are beyond healthy states that is causing conditions. And speaking down to Black men because he ain't got no money. We are a perverse culture. We still digging our way out of poverty. More of us are below poverty level than not. But you have everybody that want six-figure people. It's not realistic. We have to start having honest conversations and getting away from all this unhealthy, materialistic, self-serving ideology and get to the core root of why is the culture unhealthy and a hot mess? And what can we do about it? And the first thing we can do is start being honest. Quit holding expectations in front of people that they ain't gonna never be able to meet. Quit being so selfish, thinking that it's all about you, and learn how to care about community. We have become so selfish or entitled that there is no commonality, there's no common ground. So we got to go back to the basics of how do we put forth a message that can support people to live happy whole lives and get the culture back on track, because we are way off track. Way off track. We got to quit supporting people and believing that everybody deserves or is going to get somebody that's 6, 7 figures. It's not going to happen. Ain't enough of them out there. Again, we are a perverse culture still digging our way out of poverty. Get back to normalcy. Get back to character, values, the goodness in somebody. Quit looking down at people because they work a 9 to 5 job. Quit conditioning and supporting a lie. Everybody an entrepreneur. No, everybody can't be an entrepreneur. I encourage it, but at some point before you get there, you're gonna have to work a 9 to 5 job. A lot of these young people don't even want to work a 9 to 5 jobs because it's this mentality that's starting to breed that if you don't have an LLC, if you are not an entrepreneur, then you lame. You ain't nobody. What kind of crap is that? You have people that have adopted this social media influencer mindset that they rather come on these platforms and beg than to get a job. Nobody wants to work. And then let's not talk about these young ladies, these sprinkle mentalities that you just can't tell nothing. They need to start going to these workshops and hear some of these testimonials of these young women that have got with these provider men. Fast forward 10 years, 15, 20 years later, the man has left them and they're financially and emotionally destitute. And they've been abused all these years. See, a lot of these women aren't telling the truth. There's a lot that goes with being totally reliant on someone. See, the days of the grandmother, which our grandmothers went through a lot too. Don't misunderstand that now. But when you are totally reliant on someone, it comes with a totally different level of expectation. It's a lot you got to go through when somebody paying all the bills that a lot of these chicks ain't telling you. But they want to talk down on a woman that's self-sufficient. Let me tell you an honest truth. I dated a man that earned good money, 6 figure money. I earned 6 figure money too. I went through everything that the other women went through. I got cheated and lied on, like lied to like everybody else. A lot of times, most people, because it's most. I don't know too many women that ain't been cheated on. It's just what it is. The difference is when I left him, because he didn't leave me. I didn't lose nothing. other than a cheetah. I gained my peace. I still drive my car. I still shop. I still eat. I still have everything I had before I knew him. A lot of the women that depend on a sole provider, and I know a few, when the men left, you see, so did those women's lifestyles. It's too much healing that needs to happen within the community. For, in my opinion, there are some successful relationships. Make no mistake about it. And I believe in it. But there's a lot of work in the majority that has to happen emotionally, financially, for you to have a successful relationship. And far too many people are jumping into these relationships without a healthy and a realistic mindset too quickly, and they ain't even done their homework. They done signed up for somebody to take care of them and be responsible for them, and at the end of the day, they don't even really know them. That's for the people in the balcony in the back. I hope y'all heard that. AJ said, I get SSI. I have seizures, a chemical imbalance. 3 years ago, I had surgery for an aneurysm. Lord Jesus, AJ, praise God. You able to talk about it? I get treated like crap in my life because people think I'm crazy. At times it hurts. So I know it hurts, AJ, because you human and you ain't crazy. You done went through some things like the rest of us. Listen, AJ, when I went through in June, July 2019, when I suffered from severe depression and anxiety, from being overworked, just high stress level at work. I believe it was a nervous breakdown for real. Um, and then I caught COVID, not even 6 months later, a severe case almost killed me. My family and friends, people were saying I was crazy. No, life happened to me. And it is hurtful. It's hurtful when you go through things and people, instead of supporting you, will talk about you. And that's why I speak up about, I share my testimony and what I went through, because what I learned specifically within the African American community, see, people don't identify when somebody is emotionally in trouble. Not that they're crazy, that something has happened to them. Because, see, life happens to all of us at different levels. My level, it impacted me emotionally and then physically. And instead of being educated and equipped to identify that I'm not myself, something happened to me, I'm crazy. And then people don't want to deal with you and go the other way. And it's a sad situation, because more times than not, that's what happens within the African American community, because we are not educated enough to know when my sister or my brother friend is in trouble. Not that they crazy, but that something happened to them, that maybe too much work, high stress levels at work, too much abuse at home, and then finally they just couldn't take it anymore. They ain't crazy. They're at a vulnerable state that they need help. Don't look the other way. Get them some help. Support them in their process of getting the resources and the support that they need to get their lives back on track. But we don't do that in the African American community because we too busy shaking our heads, talking crap about somebody. And enough of that. We need to learn how to support one another better. Our lives are dependent upon it. We got to get real in here, and we do that by start telling the truth to ourselves and then to others. Enough of this mess. Nobody ain't coming to save us. We have to learn how to save ourselves. We have to learn how to bridge the gap in our community and start to heal the community. You think somebody else gonna come in this Black community and save us? You a fool. It is on us. They can talk about mental health all day long. We know collectively how we were raised, toughen up, shake it off. That's for crazy people. Well, guess what? Some stuff we cannot toughen up. Some stuff we cannot shake off. Sometimes we need to get help. Sometimes we need a moment to get well. And that does not make you less of a person. That makes you more of a person. Because life has, is, and will happen to all of us. We have to be accountable. I am accountable. I am accountable to tell the truth. I am accountable. I have helped some people that I work with that know me because I'm authentic and I'm honest, that were struggling emotionally, to get therapy, to get themselves some help. That's what community looks like, ladies and gentlemen. To answer the call of life that's bigger than your personal self, your ego, your arrogance. We don't have the luxury to sit back and wait on others to do what we must do. We don't have the luxury that somebody is going to come in and facilitate and navigate for us. We have to be the solution. We have to answer the call because that's the only way that we will heal within this culture. We will heal within our communities. We have to take back responsibility. We have to take back ownership of why we got here and accountability. There's not enough accountability. We are all accountable, whether you accept it or not. We are all accountable. So at the end of the day, we continue to grow communities. We continue to speak up authentically. We continue to listen, to understand. We learn how to be authentic and a genuine friend to somebody else. Because at some point in your life, you will need it too. Let's get real and heal is a mindset. Self-love is a learned behavior. We were not born with it. We learn it. It's a decision. It's an intentional seeking of knowledge and implementing behaviors that promotes growth, healing, and a healthy life. If you have not, I ask you to join me. Become a part of the community. And how you do that is one truth, breaking down one lie at a time. It's time we get it right. Thank you for joining me. I go live on Saturdays, evenings, typically 7, 8. Sometimes throughout the week, like I do now, depends on what goes on. But what you will know about this community, and if you haven't, please take a moment and hit the thumbs up. I appreciate it because it sends out the algorithm. We tell the truth. There's a lot of information out here that is not beneficial to anybody. I started Let's Get Real and Heal because it was a call from God. Um, I started in therapy back in 2019 when nobody that looked like me was talking about mental health. I went for a walk one day after a therapy session and I heard a voice in my ear said, "Now turn it on and tell the truth." That was FaceTime at that time. I never went live before until then. And I started speaking out about my struggles. And in return, a lot of people started reaching out and thanking me for my transparency and honesty. And I'm I answered the call to life. We all have a call in life, a purpose. My purpose is to tell the truth and to support other people on their journey. It helps me in my life, and the goal is to help you in yours. So I appreciate you taking time to be with me tonight. And again, I go live on Saturdays. There's always a link in the comments. The platform is open and welcoming to anybody that whenever they want to join the conversation in the studio. But at the end of the day, the end goal is to create resources within communities, not just have conversations on this live, because see, we don't have that kind of time. You can use these platforms to really create something that can really impact people's lives. And that's my end goal, to transition to being a true advocate, mental health advocate, life um, supporter of others, where I can offer resources and other things that can potentially change people's lives for the better. So that is my goal. And I'm prayerful. With that being said, Saturday, I hope you can join me then. Thank you for joining me tonight. If nothing else, take a moment. Even if you don't support him, believe in him, everybody can use a prayer. At the end of the day, this man is just a man. Like all of us are human. Send up a prayer for him. We all can use one. Till then, let's get real and heal. Have a good night.